Yeah.
I was watching a video and it was talking about identity. I was kind of wondering, like I know that some things about me, like I know how old I am, I know my name, and I know what I like, but I don't really know all about me.
Yeah, that's a very deep philosophical question. A lot of people struggle with that, in life. Some people, I don't know if you know this, some people are 50, 60, and even above that. They don't know who they are. And you might say, what do you mean? Like they're 50 and 60, they don't know who they are? Man, look, life is as far as you take it. Like if you want, wait, let me talk a little bit. You can get as far in life as what you put in. So when you want to learn, if I open up a book and I read up to page 5, that's as much as I know about that book. Everything else about that book would be an assumption. And a lot of people learn only enough about themselves in a lifetime. They know the basics. Life is always demanding from them. Careers like, oh, do this, do that, make the bonus, make the paycheck, responsibilities. People get really good at learning the outside structure of life, right? What the demands of life, the pulls, the tugs. They learn how people operate. Like people that are two-faced, people that want to use you, people that want to con you. So they learn about life in that general sense, right? And they learn how to have fun. Nobody has to teach you how to have fun. You know how to go to the beach and jump in the waves and have a great old time. You know how to challenge yourself in climbing a tree and maybe pushing yourself and excelling in a sport. But when it comes to your identity, not too many people dig, because it takes a digging, it takes an effort to learn about yourself, what makes you tick, the psychology of why you are the way you are. You see, a lot of people, and then I'll let you ask your question, a lot of people, they sum up life by the past experiences of what life has done to them. So like if they had a bad episode in life and somebody bullied them, then they could take on a frame of thought that I am unlovable or I'm not enough because I got bullied. That story that they tell themselves is so dangerous. It could be beautiful if it's a positive thing, but it's very dangerous and detrimental to your future when you adopt a mentality that what happened to you on the outside, your circumstances dictated your identity. Now that those things, outside influences, have now defined you on the inside, and you're living in response, in reaction to those things that happen outside. So I'll finish with this. I know you have a question. Everybody on earth goes through hard things. Everybody. Okay? So like some people worse than others. So like you guys got it good. You got a dad. I didn't have no dad. My experiences of growing up were much different than your experiences growing up. Okay? So in terms of just based off of that alone, I lacked a lot of information and a lot of understanding of do's and don'ts, rights and wrongs. I didn't grow up going to church and knowing about God. Yeah, what's up?
But then how are the ways that you learned about all this stuff?
How did I learn about all this stuff? The hard way. I learned it in reverse. Most people learn, if you're lucky enough, if you're blessed enough to have somebody like a mentor to teach you the right way, then guess what? It's up to you and your free will to adopt what I say first and foremost. Because this is also part of the psychology of man. You can be given the roadmap to life and the blueprint. You can be given the pearls to what's going to revolutionize your future. But then you, on the opposite end, have to receive it, own it, take it in, and then adopt it as your belief system, and then live it out. And that is something that I can't do for you. I can give you the keys, but you have to appropriate those keys into your own life through believing that that is the way, and then functioning in that capacity down that road. Now, what happens to most people is that they fluctuate up and down according to circumstances. So today was a good day, I'm happy. Oh, today I got something in the mail and something broke in the house, and so automatically they are preset to living according to circumstances. But why I love this subject so much is that your identity can trump what's happening on the outside by way of your mind, your thought process. So some people could see, you'll hear this growing up, you'll hear some people see the cup half full and half empty. And it's the same cup. It's the same cup. But some see it half full and the others see it half empty. And it's how you look at life. Some people see life as, I don't have enough. And then other people say, wow, I'm so blessed. But they have the same thing. Yeah.
So what are you writing down right now?
I'm writing down because there's something called refinement. So you can know a thing and you can have understanding to the point where you can teach it. But when you practice and repeat what you already know, you become more influential, you become more determined to live it out. And there's always parts of your life where even though you have a concept of the truth, there's always more to dig to get down to more of a revelation of what you already know. Like, you know parts of your life, you know your name, your age, your gender, and you know what your likes and your dislikes and your personality is based around those things. But then you can ask yourself questions like, why was I created? What am I here for? This is you digging into your identity. And it looks like you grabbing a marker or a pen or a pencil and writing down all the different types of things that you could be here for according to your gifts, your talents, according to what rises up inside of you. Okay, as an answer, write it down. We're going to dissect it later. It could look stupid, it could look foolish, but write it down. So look, this is how you get to know your identity. You write down the different types of questions, because a lot of life is questions, defining. You'll get more clarification once you define everything. Don't assume that you know. Define it. If you can't define it to a 4-year-old, then you don't understand it yourself. Go.
What is identity in the Bible?
Oh, is it in the Bible? Well, yes, bro. First and foremost, we're made in God's image. This is who God says you are. You're made in His image with a purpose. You were created for such a time as this. Wasn't by accident. You're not a monkey. And the world didn't create itself from gases that exploded and all that. Science and neuroscience and all this, I love it. I'm not against it. I don't believe that God and science are separate. I believe that science proves God, right? And there's thousands of different revelations behind science. Give me a second. There's thousands of different reasons why I believe that. And we could chat GPT it and we can look into it. The only thing that science can't do is grab God, because He's spirit, and dissect Him to see if He is who He says He is. That comes by faith. Faith and belief are one and the same. You believe by faith. But then when it manifests in real life, then you have evidence because of the faith that you had, and it manifested. Now, let me finish with this, right? You asked me a question about identity and what does God say. He says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You have free will, meaning He didn't create robots. He didn't come, and like the Muslims like to say, where does it say that Jesus said, I am God, worship me? He doesn't operate like that. He doesn't operate like a tyrant. He knocks on the door of your heart through a message, and we respond with what He already embedded in us from the beginning of time. When you were in your mother's womb, He spoke to you and gave you identity. He spoke to you and gave you, like, the reason why you're here. It's inside of you. That is why some of the things that you do bring ultimate satisfaction. It brings so much happiness to your soul. It's because that's part of your calling. That is part of your destiny. But then there's other parts that you're turned off, you don't like it, this and that. So when God made you and knitted you in your mother's womb, he spoke to you life and gave you reason to live. Yeah.
So basically, like you're saying about life. So basically, like that tree is like there, right there. And then that tree has like a bunch of branches and stuff.
Okay, point at the tree. That one's dead, and point at the other tree. And that one's alive. All right, point back at us. Now, what's the difference between a dead tree and an alive tree? That one's bearing fruit, which is an avocado tree. That one's called the mamey tree, and it looks like it's dead. Okay, so that's what a life without God looks like. You can have the structure of your life. The tree is there, the structure is there, and it's trying to gather up fruit from the outside of earth, meaning and purpose from careers, from likes and dislikes, from other people, etc. But in the end, inside that person, it would never be enough, because they have a void that they can't fill with other things. Only God can fill that. So a lot of them, they get cats and dogs. They buy all kinds of different animals and stuff, all to fulfill this. I want love. I need validate. I want to be confirmed on the inside, like life. I know it has so much purpose. I know it has so much meaning. But they try to acquire things and stick it into that void, and it never does it. So they are like a tree that is disconnected from the source, and the source is God. When they're disconnected from God,
you're basically saying like the sun is the source that grows life, like sun and water, because that's how it's grows.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So the sun and water give sustenance to the tree to make it bear good fruit. And Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. If you connect and abide in me, you will bear much fruit. You'll be full of life, and you will bear much good fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You will be like a withering branch, a lot like that tree, disconnected from the vine, and you will be like a branch that's not, it's dead. It can only be thrown into the fire. So these are things that you could explain. I can speak it, but those that are connected to God in terms of in spirit and in truth, in the Holy Spirit, they reside with his presence through worship and through the Bible and through fellowship with his communion in the secret place. They can say, yo, it's not my imagination, it's not my neurons firing with one another, all that. It's literally this relationship that satisfies and fulfills the void inside of me that nothing else can fill. Nothing else can fill it. I have peace that surpasses all understanding. I have peace that I can give everybody peace on earth and still have peace for myself. And that is not natural or normal. That is the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ, reigning in my life. Yeah.
So basically, you know how you said we are from this earth, but we're not of this earth?
You're in this world, but you're not of this world.
Basically, so you see that, like one of these trees, basically, so they grew from the earth, but what gave them life is the sun and water. So you come from the earth,
there's things that this tree could do. There's things that we could do for this tree. Like, for example, a person could go to a psychologist, they could go to medicine, and they could feel better. A tree, when it's dead, you could put fertilizer, you could put different things around it to try to bring it back to life. Just like a human being, you can take that human being to the doctor, get medicine, do different things like that. And you can help that human being. You can make this tree look alive. But if you want it to thrive, if you want it to bear great fruit, not just little fruit, abundant fruit, and you want it to be, then you have to align it with its original source. Don't give it, give me 1 second, don't give it like this food that is artificial. Don't give it artificial life. It might look the same, but it's a counterfeit of the true source of what God brings into the table. This is all by faith. It starts with faith. But in the end, the evidence is produced when you connect yourself to the source. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, like,
Point at the tree.
so you see that tree. So that is like somebody that they're walking away from God.